Today, we are once again talking about what I'm calling forever exercises, and if you haven't already, you can check out another video I made on a different forever exercise. And what I mean by that phrase is that these are concepts or exercises that are so fundamental and so foundational to anything that any of us will play as drummers that any drummer at any level should be able to benefit from these for the rest of their lives. In the last video, we talked about subdivisions, and in this video, I want to talk about permutations. This idea goes by different names depending on who you're talking to. Some people will call this a grid system. Benny Greb calls this the rhythmic alphabet in his Language of Drumming DVD. The basic idea is that instead of learning just a bunch of random beats and hoping that one of them works out for whatever musical situation we're in, that we can systematically start developing our independence and our musical vocabulary for whatever situation we find ourselves in. And this concept runs deep, and I really would recommend that you check out The Language of Drumming by Benny Greb if this idea interests you, but we're just going to scratch the surface today. And we're going to take the example of maybe a newer drummer who has just learned the basic rock beat. And the problem is that they're hearing all of these songs that have different bass drum patterns. They're having a tough time figuring out how to gain the independence with their right foot underneath. So the goal is clear, that we want to be able to play this on the hands, and we want to be able to play anything with our right foot. And if we can do that, then we'll have literally unlocked millions of different songs that use basic variations on that beat. So how do we go about doing this? Well, permutations is how we do it. If we want to be able to play anything with our right foot in 16th notes, we have to think to ourselves logically, okay, well, how many possible 16th note places could I put my right foot? And if we think about it, we can go through it systematically and say, well, okay, on any given beat, I could put my bass drum on 1, or I could put it on the downbeat. I could also put it on the E. I could also put it on the ands. I could also put it on the us. I could also put it on 1E. I could also put it on E-uh, right? You can see where I'm going with this. And if you go through and figure out all of the possible places that you could put these notes in, all of the different permutations, then you'll find that there are, in fact, 16 different possible combinations, which is actually not that bad as far as something you need to practice. And in fact, there's a very easy way to automatically write out all 16 of the combinations you need to thoroughly practice this. All you need to do is go to GrooveScribe, set up an 8th note rock beat, and then click on Permutations and Kick Permutation, and it will just automatically create all of them for you. So here's what it would sound like actually running through all of those different permutations. Now, if you're a beginner or maybe an intermediate drummer, most likely you found some of those to be easy and some of them to be surprisingly difficult. And this is great because that automatically instructs you on where you should be focusing your attention. You should spend more time on the exercises that were surprisingly difficult and less time on the ones that were easy. You want to get to the point where they're all basically equally comfortable for you. Once you can do that, you can start creating different combinations. And the cool thing is that you cannot come up with a 16th note based bass drum groove underneath the 8th note rock pattern that doesn't use some combination of these 16 exercises. It's just not possible. So there are millions of different grooves that we could make with just these 16 exercises. So what you can do now is you can work on just improvising with these different patterns. If you're beyond this, that's totally fine because permutations are so widely applicable. Let's say I'm working on some Latin pattern between my left foot, my left hand, and my right foot, and I want to have freedom playing on a cowbell or on the bell of the ride with my right hand. Great, I can just fire up that pattern on these limbs, and then I can go through all of my permutations with my right hand. So again, this is one of the most important concepts I feel like I've ever learned. I've been practicing different permutation exercises for literally over a decade, and I'm sure I will continue to for decades more. Check out The Language of Drumming by Benny Greb if you want some more exercise ideas, or just let me know in the comments and I'm happy to do more videos on this topic because it is one of my favorites. But hopefully this helped. Thank you for watching. See you next time.